Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to review a very classic Casio watch, which is the Casio calculator series. This model number is the CA-53W, and the module on this watch is 3208. So you can find the full instructions of this watch online at Casio's website if you need to. Okay, so let's take a look at this watch. This watch is actually a very classic Casio calculator watch design. The original model comes with a black case, black resin band, and also a positive LCD display. However, for this watch, it comes with a special color design, which is beige in color for the case as well as for the straps. And the LCD display on this is a negative display. So on screen here, we have very good lighting in the room, so the negative LCD display is extremely legible. However, I do have to disclaim that in normal or rather low light conditions, the negative LCD displays legibility is actually pretty bad. You can't really see much if it's in a low light condition. However, uh, in good lighting, such as in this room, you'll be able to see the screen quite easily. Okay, so let's just run through some of the functions of this watch. The main function would be the calculator function, of course. You can see on the face of the watch there's a lot of buttons for the numbers as well as simple calculator functions. At the side of the case, you have two buttons. One is recess, one is protruding out. So the main mode button would be this button. The recess button would be used for adjustment. So for example, if I press this, you can actually adjust the watch, the time, so on and so forth, date, so on and so forth. But we don't usually use this button unless we want to adjust the time or adjust the alarm on the watch. So therefore, this button over here is recessed. On the left side of the case, there's no button. It's just a very clean look. This watch is also very thin, as you can see. Okay, so let's run through some of the functions of this watch. Okay, you have to press the mode button to get into the mode. But before that, I want to show you the timekeeping mode. So at this default mode, which is the timekeeping mode, if you want to see the date and the day of the week, you need to press on this button over here, date here. The day of the week is over here, so you can press this button to see the date, the month, as well as the year. So when you release, it will go back to the timekeeping mode. So due to the small screen space over here, usually other digital watches such as your G-Shocks or even your normal Casio, they will display the date and the day of the week together in the screen. But because this screen is quite small, most of the watch face is taken up by this portion over here. So if you want to see the date and the month, you have to press this button, the top right hand button. Alright, so let's move on to the different mode. Okay, the first mode would be the calculator function. You can actually press mode once and it goes to the calculator function. So for example, I do a very simple operation over here. Okay, 6. Okay, times 6. Okay, whatever. Okay, equals to a certain number. So the number is all over here. The operation, you have divide, multiplication, subtraction, as well as addition. So 4 simple functions of this watch. When you press whichever operation that you have here, for example division, it will appear on the top of the screen. Okay, so the watch will tell you what button that you have pressed. If I press multiplication, it will appear as such. Same for subtraction and addition. So very easy and simple to use watch. If you want to reset the watch, you just press 0, or you just press the mode. Okay, so let's do another operation over here. Okay, 9 plus 1. okay, equals to 10. And you can continue on, okay, with the function, okay, divide by 5, okay, equals to 2, okay, multiply by 10 equals to 20. All right, so this watch, you can actually perform basic arithmetic calculation on this watch. And some of you may ask, okay, what's the use of it? Nowadays we have smartphones, we have calculators, we don't really have a use for this function on the watch. Okay, so for me, I think this watch is more of a retro and classic design. The look and feel to it is quite unique compared to normal digital watches. So if you want to have this look of a calculator watch on your wrist, you can go for it. In terms of the function wise, I would say it's still functional. It functions as a very simple calculator. So if let's say you are lazy to pull out your phone, or you just want to, for the fun of it, use the calculator function on this watch, by all means go ahead. I still think this watch is a very unique design and unique look that you can have on your wrist. So there's a rundown of the calculator function. Okay, so the next function would be your standard alarm as well as hourly signal. So this watch has alarm function. You can actually set the alarm using this recess button over here. Okay, cycle through the minutes and hours and minutes over here, and you can set the alarm. Okay, once you set the alarm, there's this alarm signal over here that appears. You can toggle this alarm signal on and off by this button over here. So there's an alarm on and off button. At the number 4, you can toggle it off and on as you wish. As for the hourly signal, it will be this button over here. Okay, the multiplication button. You can also same toggle it on and off. All right. So very simple to use. Okay. We are not done yet. We still have a few other functions. Stopwatch function. You start and stop using this button over here. Okay, you can also do a lap time. Okay, so start, stop. Okay, reset using this 0 button. Okay, so very simple, no frills kind of operation. Nothing too complicated, just a simple and reliable stopwatch for you to use. Okay. Alright, so we do have one last mode function, which is the dual time function. Okay, so this dual time function is useful for people who travels to other countries. You want to keep track of the time zone of another country. You can actually adjust the dual time. Whichever time zone that you frequent, you can make the necessary adjustments to the time, and then you can keep track of a second time zone, which I think is a very good addition to the function of this watch. Extremely useful, especially if you travel often. Okay, so let's put this watch on my wrist and see how it looks like, okay, on my 6.5-inch wrist. Okay, so this is how the Casio CA-53 calculator watch looks like on my 6-inch wrist. It's pretty nice. Okay, very classic design to it, and a very retro vibe. Okay, so unfortunately this watch do not have any illumination function. There's no light, there's no LED light. So during low light conditions, you will not be able to see this watch. That's the only downside for this watch. Other than that, I think that's pretty much for this watch. Do take note that it's also water resistant, but not to not water resistance to a huge level, so you can't bring this for swimming. It's not advisable to do so. It's okay if you wash your hands with this watch, but try not to bring it to swimming, or try not to bring this watch to water intensive activities. So that's the only two downsides for this watch. Just take note of that. Other than that, I think this watch is a very good watch if you want something different and you want to, you know, indulge in a retro vibe, and you can try this watch. All right, so that's all for today's review, and I will see you in the next video.